See, when you start this podcast, you got to do some background music of like people clapping.
Oh yeah,
like audience noise. And that.
Do you want to do it? Or an intro?
Oh no, but it's got to be like a large crowd. You know how you have it on TV shows? Like,
Attempt it.
Wait. Should I do like the audio thing? Wait.
Okay, go for it. We're on standby.
Oh, alright. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the NumbNuts Podcast, episode 15. That's a satisfying number, that is. That finished quick. Yeah, that's not added. It's not post production. It's pre-production. It's during production. But yeah,
Are we on 15 already?
We're on 15. Yeah. Yeah.
I missed out on, I think, 3 because I just came back from Japan.
Welcome back.
Oh,
you didn't put your phone on silent?
No. I just came back from Japan.
Yeah.
Please stop it.
Of course.
Nah, but yes, I'm back and I missed... Which one? I missed the iPhone one.
Yes.
I missed the iPhone. I missed shower thoughts.
You were actually meant to be a part of the... one where we talked about my car, but then
you had the vandalism one. Yes,
the vandalism one. But then you had a headache that day. Nice. I remember you rocked up and you're like, here's drinks.
So that one, like, it's not like a like girl's excuse with the migraine. I got a headache. This one was actually I can feel like a heartbeat in my temple. So it was like I should stop looking. It's such a bad habit. I keep looking at the camera.
Well, that's fine. Whatever you want to do.
Because it looks like it's like looking at me because it's like one big eye. But
that is a really nice lens, to be fair. But I remember that day you came and you're like good news and bad news. Good news, I got some drinks for you guys. Bad news, I'm going.
Nah, because I bring drinks and everything. Did you guys drink it during the podcast or?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So much cat hair.
There's a lot of cat hair. Literally last video there was a clip of Aiden just like going like this.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, literally. As you guys can see, it's just me and Mirza today. Aiden was here actually, but unfortunately Mirza was running a little late. So Aiden had to go.
How early did it come? It was like 5?
No, we said 5:30 and he was here 5:30. He was here at 5:40.
I said like 6.
No, you said 6. What? You said
yesterday,
6.
Didn't I say?
No, you didn't say 6 yesterday. You said today.
Yeah.
You said literally as it hit 5:30, you're like, hey, can I come at 6:30 instead? I'm like, it's not a problem with me. Unfortunately, Aiden had plans.
You should have said, because I took a shower and I ate and all that. I would just...
No, it's fine. Like I did tell you, like, it's fine. But then when when Aiden came, he's like, I got this to do and stuff, so I can't stay. I go, nah, it's all good.
Because the main thing, like Aiden, like we've all now been to Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you, me, and Kez in the last like year, Aiden went when he was like 4 or 5 years old. So if anything, main idea was, since now that I went, I understand what they talk about when they share their experiences and whatnot. When you share your experiences, I went here and this happened there. And that's why like, obviously I would have wanted Aiden here, but like the main thing I would have wanted to compare was like you and Kez's experience. But if anything, I'll speak to Kez about it. Because we've already done one about the Tokyo trip for Kez's one.
Yes.
Was that
but it was audio only.
Yeah, that was. So it was just him bagging like Japan for 1 hour straight. It was just like...
it was a lot of negatives. And he realized, and he told me like actually I cut out a lot of the negatives actually in that video. Because he told me, he's like, cut out the negatives. I said too much. You know what it is?
He did. Like,
Kez still hasn't even told us what he did on the Japan trip. I still don't know. Like, you're telling me stuff today. You told me a little bit.
Yeah, so...
That you guys talked about.
Because I obviously asked you and your wife about where you guys went. And I asked Kez and his wife where they went.
Yeah.
And where you guys went was pretty kickback. Yeah. From all the places you listed. Yeah. And where Kez went was all the crack joints and the ghetto and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no wonder Kez had somewhat...
because he had an Airbnb. We had like hotels. You had hotels too, but Kez had an Airbnb.
My first place was a hotel, really fancy. I'd recommend it in Kyoto, and the second one was an Airbnb.
Was the hotel actually spacious?
Oh, bro, if I was to measure it, it would be like 5 by 5 meters.
Is it bigger than this room?
Yeah, so this would have just been like the bed area, and then twice as big as this.
You guys were sharing the room, yeah?
Yeah. And then basically, oh my god, I don't want to get straight into it too quickly. Just like I just want to like make sure, just before I get into it, I just want to say like Kez's experience and whatnot. But yeah, so with the pretty spacious bidets I loved about it and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of the other things too, wasn't it? With Japan, everywhere, even the public toilets, they have the bidets.
Yeah.
And my hotel, oh my god, it was so bougie, and I didn't realize. I'm speaking way too fast. I'm realizing this now. I gotta slow it down. But basically, with their one, like my bidet, you obviously know like the basics of the girl one. Like there's one to clean the girls' butt and whatnot, boys' butt.
Yeah.
My one had like temperature too, so I can like control. Did I want hot water, cold water? You know,
to clean.
Yeah, to clean. Yeah. And then what was it? Had a massage in like on the toilet seat.
Oh, okay.
So like just like wobbles your butt a bit and whatnot. And you had a fan. I think maybe yours had a fan. Did it have a fan? Yeah,
honestly,
it blows all the water out.
Honestly, I didn't explore all the settings on when
I went through all of them. The pressure one and whatnot. And we're just like, yeah. When I came back, it was a culture shock. Australian is dirty country. No ass cleaners or anything like that.
Yeah. Do you not have a bidet at your house?
I do. But, yeah, it's like when I went to like mate's house. You don't have a bidet.
We ordered it today. We actually ordered it. Yeah. We were talking about it with Aiden when he was here for a little bit. My wife just ordered us bidets for the house.
The fancy ones like over there, or just like a little, just like.
No, just a bidet, because it's always nice to have a bidet. You know, you want to clean yourself with water, not just tissues.
We already spoke about this. Like, I'm not gonna bag Aussies right now, but y'all nasty. They don't clean their butt with water. They just do dry tissue. And just,
yeah, exactly.
Or they actually take a poo, from what I heard from all the Aussie mates that I have.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's like, they do it and they just like wait till they clean, and then they sometimes like wait till like, I'm not gonna say this is a mutual mate, but he basically is like, they just like wipe or they leave it to shower.
Huh.
Yeah, that's it. And like with Turkish culture, they have like a shower head. Like,
yeah.
I'm getting too deep into this. But yeah. So like next time, hopefully when Kez comes over, I'll hear his sort of side. Cause, like he told me one or two places, but again, like I know more about you and your wife's trip than.
Yeah. Oh, that's yours. Oh, and it fell on the floor.
No, but I know more about you and your wife's trip than I know about Kez's one.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know Kez went with other people.
Yeah.
So it's like, So we're going to get into it. I'm going to tell you all the secrets of the Japan life, because there was a great thing that I saw, It goes, tourists, they go destination to destination,
Yeah.
And there was the guy was basically like, tourists go destinations to escape.
Yeah.
And then basically he's like to the woman next to it, just like a little short clip that I saw. And he basically gets the pamphlet and he goes, we're not tourists, we're travelers. And he goes, we're not here to go to those places to escape. We're here to experience. And relating to that, we went to a couple of tourist places because I rented out a motorbike.
Yeah.
And just riding around random places, you get to experience more of the culture than going to just like a little temple where they sort of like make it around tourism, where it's like you go to like a village where they don't see any tourists, so it's like you're sort of experiencing that. Where it's like, that's what I mean, where it's like, if I was to compare our trips, because your wife was talking about before, I would say, yes, I've done the tourist stuff, but I feel like I traveled more. And then I would say you guys went.
Well, we only went to places that was accessible by either walking, and there's only so much walking you can do, and public transport.
Yeah, so that's...
Whereas you had the freedom of motorbikes.
Yeah, so we went, and I highly recommend it. If you got a bike or a car, you just have so much freedom to go around. But yeah, it's like, everyone was saying I should make like a TikTok, like, how it's like, this is my journey.
Part one. Yeah, part one of TikTok vacation.
And everyone's like, why don't you do that? I go, no, like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone has their own experience, and a lot of people have the same experience, and sort of, because they sort of go to the same place that they see on TikTok. And I was there for 8 days, basically.
Yeah.
And then on the way, it's actually cheaper, I was explaining this before, to stop over in China. Yeah. So a direct flight's like 1.3, 1.4.
Yeah.
Going through China is about 500-600.
Yeah.
Originally, I saw it for 350, 400.
Yeah.
The ticket. It was cheaper to go to Japan than it was to Queensland. Like that's how cheap the tickets were and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we basically had some trouble going through. We realized very quickly why it was so much cheaper.
Yeah.
When we got to China, basically, we were meant to go from Melbourne to Beijing and then Beijing to Osaka.
Yeah.
So it was a two-way flight. When we got to China, basically we were like, can we get our tickets to... Because we only had the tickets to go to Beijing. And then at Beijing, they were like, pick up your tickets to go to Osaka.
Okay.
We went to the teller and we were like, can we have our tickets? And they're like, why would you have it now? Your flight's in 2-3 days. And I was like, it's meant to be a 2-hour layover.
Yeah.
And this is where the problem started happening, where basically China Air, I'm going to boycott because...
Crappiest air flight.
Yeah, crappiest air service, Air China. Don't even bother. It's just disgusting food on the plane. Anyways, and yeah, so we got there and they're like, oh, like your next flight's in 2-3 days to Osaka. And I go, no, my layover's 2 hours. There's a plane in 2 hours to Osaka. And they go, a plane to Osaka doesn't even exist. And I go, then where's my bags? And then they're like, your bags are on the carousel past the gates. And I go, this is where I started having a little argument. I was like, then just book me another plane to go to Osaka because I'm not staying in China for 2-3 days for the next flight. And then they're like, oh, like we can give you a hotel. I'm like, no, I'm not going to book out a hotel. I want to leave. And then they basically said, yeah, so basically, I'm trying to remember the steps because I don't want to skip over. There's a little bit of drama. So they're basically like, next flight we can do is to Tokyo. And that would be in 8 hours.
So this is literally on the way there to Tokyo.
So we're we're in Beijing.
Yeah.
And it's just us. And in the whole airport, well...
And you went with just your cousin. It was just you two. Yeah.
So, and like we don't speak Chinese. So like trying to find someone that speaks decent English is hard enough. And when you translate it as well, it doesn't like come out properly how you want to say it. So they're reading what I'm trying to tell them in English to Chinese or Mandarin. And it's not coming out right.
Yeah.
So they're like, we can get you a plane to Tokyo. And then from there, Tokyo to Osaka. And I go, when's this? And they're like, in 8 hours, the plane leaves to Tokyo. And I go, screw it, all right. And I go, I need to get my bags. And then this is where they go, you need a visa to go get your bags. Because it's past like the cleared section.
What the hell?
So I'm technically entering China to get my bags. And then when I went to go get a day visa, there was another guy. So he's an immigration officer.
Yeah. And
he looked through my passport. And I went to Turkey 2 years ago,
Yeah.
And then he's looking at my account and he goes, why are you in China for 2-3 days? Because you know how they said on my paper, he said my next plane's in 2-3 days. And I'm like, no, like my plane's in 8 hours. Like they rebooked it. And he goes, here writes 2-3 days. What are you doing in China for 2-3 days?
Yeah.
And he's like, are you staying anywhere? I go, no. And they're basically getting sus that I'm like just entering it, doing something shifty and leaving.
Yeah.
And then we had got into, not an argument, but like,
back and forth?
Yeah, like he's saying you're staying for 2-3 days. I'm staying for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And then eventually he denied my visa.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I was like, how am I meant to get my bags if I can't enter the section to get my bag?
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's not my problem, basically.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, can I get a worker to go get the bag? And he's like, nah. He's like, I can't do anything. And then that's when basically I was like to my cousin, I'm like, can you apply him? And he goes, no. And I go, why is that? And he goes, because like we're there together. Eventually, I told, can I speak to someone else? And a woman came over and she denied me as well because apparently I didn't meet the criteria for a Chinese visa. But they applied him and he got it and then he sort of sorted it out. And yeah, like that was the whole situation. And like I said too, so with the immigration officer, when my cousin was basically talking to him, it started getting a little heated because he's like, no, he's not allowed. But the woman was like saying he is. And that guy basically took my cousin's passport and his phone. And he took my passport and almost took my phone too. Because he was sort of getting pissy at us.
Okay.
And even though we weren't like raising our voice, we weren't getting angry or anything. We were just like trying to communicate.
Yeah.
And yeah, like at that point, he's got both our passports, my cousin's phone. And the woman's like, I don't know if there was like a hierarchy, but she was like quiet about it and whatnot. And eventually we called the Air China representative of like the company. And then she like was on the other side of the airport and she came and sorted it out. But that's why it's just like such a headache. It's like all over the place sort of the story, but basically, yeah, like
Imagine if it was 2 hours, you would have missed your flight.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I was like panicking here. I'm like, it's already like an hour and a half, 2 hours. We've been trying to sort this out.
Yeah.
Like even if there was a plane, we would have missed it.
Yeah.
But again, it didn't.
So your trip, literally, you lost some of your trip like time.
Half day basically.
So essentially, you guys lost half a day.
Alright, so we lost 8 hours there.
Yeah.
We get to Tokyo.
Yeah.
Over there, because at that point I only had the tickets to get to Tokyo.
Wait, before you continue, sorry.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening so they gave both you and your cousin a day visa, and then you guys just got your
bags? They gave him a day visa. He got the bags, and then he came back through the gate.
Yeah.
And then at this point, we only had the tickets to get to Tokyo, and they're like, "You'll get your tickets from Tokyo to Osaka when you're over there."
And you had to pay more for that, or?
Nah, they're like, like we sort of screwed up, so we'll sort of like put you on 2 flights.
How did they manage to like mess this up so bad?
Again, because we didn't go through Air China to book it. We went through like a third party website.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't. Maybe that's because you know you go through an agent and they give you the papers and all that.
Yeah.
Like a flight agency. We just done it online, and I'm guessing that website that books it for you sort of screwed it up.
Yeah.
And then again, like with Air China, because all our papers said 2-hour layover, and he had the flight number and all that. Or maybe Air China screwed up by maybe they didn't have a plane, and they were just like trying to mess about with us and whatnot. But
they literally told you guys there's no plane going to Osaka.
yeah, so that's where like how's that work? You know, you were booked for a flight that doesn't exist with a plane number that apparently the plane doesn't exist.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it doesn't make sense.
It was such a headache, and then we lost basically 8-9 hours there.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we only had the tickets to get to Tokyo, and we were meant to get the ones to Osaka when we got there.
Yeah.
We get to Tokyo.
Okay.
And then we're at the gate, and then we're like, all right, we need our tickets to get to Osaka. And apparently in Beijing, they only registered me to hop onto the plane, and not my cousin. So at this point, only one of us could get to Osaka by plane.
Yeah.
And then we're having a back and forth as well. I'm like, can you call someone to like sort of sort this out? And they're like, we're just workers. We can't add flights or add you onto a flight. And they're like, call this number. It was like 5:40, and they're like, this number closes at 6. And for 20 minutes, I'm trying to contact number. They're like, it's just hanging up on me and whatnot. 6 passes and goes to the number's like, nah, Air China's closed. Like, we're not taking any calls. And yeah, from there, we ended up taking a bullet train all the way to Osaka.
Oh, wow.
And
so you guys had to just...
Yeah, so that was it. In Tokyo, we wasted another 3 hours, and then the bullet train was another 2.5. And then by the time we got there, it was like 2 a.m. We lost the whole day. Moral of the story, don't go Air China. It's...
Maybe more of those stories don't book from like
third
party.
Look, yeah, there's that too. Right? Maybe go to a flight agent. There's a reason they sort of have that. But again, it was meant to be like simple in and out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just transfer onto the next flight. And luckily on the way back, it was much better. But that's the whole like, it was just such a headache. And yeah, I got nothing against like people and whatnot. But like the way those Chinese people sort of treated us, like foreigners and whatnot, it was really like aggressive for no reason.
Yeah.
Like I didn't raise my voice at any point. My cousin sort of got angry at the immigration guy. That's why he's like sort of took the passports and my cousin's phone because it was like laying on the counter. But yeah, it was like they just like were aggressive for no reason, and like they denied me my visa just because, again, one because of Turkey trip, and they couldn't understand why I was staying in China for 3 days without an apartment.
What's the Turkey trip got to do with it?
I don't know. So he asked me, he goes, how long were you in Turkey? And I go, 3 months. And he goes, well, for what reason? And I go, to see family. And he goes, you saw your family for 3 months. And I go, like, yeah. And he found that sus.
How's that sus?
I don't know, but like the Turkish passport, like the stamp thing was in my passport. So it was like asking questions about that.
Yeah.
And he goes, are you a Turkish citizen? And I go, yeah, but I don't have a passport. And then he's like, do you have any form of proof that you're even Turkish or like a citizen? And showed the Turkish kimlik, like the ID.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were just like really sus about it. And I don't know, it's like they were asking for my fingerprints, and they were like, we're going to do an eye scan. And
they have a lot of spies in China. Is that why they're like...
Do I look like a Chinese spy, bro?
Well, that's
I'm there like just I'm bad.
If you look like a spy, then you're a bad spy.
Wait.
Exactly.
So I'll fit the criteria for this. Bubble 7 over here. Nah, but like it was just like, again, they were aggressive for no reason, and like, yeah, it was just a really bad experience. Just go directly to Japan, pay that extra $400-500. You know what I mean? It's worth it. There's a reason. Just direct's better. No, but from the trips, because you went to Osaka, Kyoto, and Tokyo. I went to
all of those. Yeah.
So I can only sort of relate to you because I didn't go Osaka, but Kyoto. I think Kez went Kyoto. I'll ask him next time on the podcast. But with the Kyoto trip, so one thing I highly recommend, again, get the motorbikes or rent a car, because public transport, it's pretty easy. Like Kez said, I would be like really challenged trying to figure it out. I figured it out in like 5 minutes. Like Google Maps tells you everything.
Yeah, Google Maps tells you everything. Google Maps is go.
Yeah, just Google Maps it tells you the platform, what color the train is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like genuinely, it actually does. Like go through the green line through the JL or JA or JK line. You know what I mean? It was so easy, but I'd still recommend getting car or motorbike because public transport only takes you so far. Yeah, and like there's a lot of places that you can't go. Wait, I'm gonna pull this up because I said I marked everywhere on my maps.
Oh yeah.
Nah, but with Kyoto, there's it's like a really temple area, and Kyoto's so nice with the people and whatnot.
So you said to me that you actually liked Kyoto the best.
Oh yeah, so just a spoiler.
Yeah.
Tokyo's a dump, like in the. Alright, like I'm turning into Kez right now, but talking. Tokyo is so westernized and dirty. You know how when people go, I went to America, and they say people are rude and there's rubbish everywhere?
Yeah.
It was very similar in sort of the vibes where people aren't rude, but it's just like everywhere smells. Like, it's just because they're like sewage or whatever is like very public and just under the roads and the pathways and whatnot. And they keep their rubbish, like, they don't have a actual like rubbish system. They don't have like a truck that brings it. They just leave it at the front. And you have like your 4 or 5 bags and different things. Like, see those places up there? They're the ones I had to get my motorbike went up there too.
Yeah.
Nah, but with Kyoto, so I'm guessing you guys went into the market areas and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah, so but with Kyoto, it's like more, it's so civil and everyone's so dressed nice and whatnot. Like, I don't know if you got the same, like, you and your wife did a lot of different activities, so I'm sort of curious what I missed out on too.
Yeah.
Because I missed out on that temple one. You know how you said with the... So it's the... I don't know, do I make you put the effort of putting your picture up? On?
No, we'll do it. Because you got a lot of pictures, we got to put them all up.
No, this isn't where I went, but I think you went. It's that hike, you know, with the...
Yeah, I'll show you guys the picture now.
Yeah, so this is it. We missed out on
you're
that.
talking about the red... almost like gates, and there's 1,000 of them.
And it, like, leads
but
up.
you know, we went to that, but we didn't actually walk up it. We couldn't be bothered
Because the
we
whole
did
thing's
so much.
Whole
walking.
thing's like 2 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
But there's like a little part where it's like 10-minute, 5-minute walk.
We went up to see where it starts. We took some photos, and then we looked up. Oh, that's nice. And then we went back. So Kyoto was actually, we stayed there for only like 2-3 days.
Yeah.
That was the nicest hotel we've had there. We had a floor mattress, like traditional, like Japanese style. We went to like that temple. We went to the markets. But Kyoto was very nice. It's you know what's the good thing about Kyoto? Like, you say that Tokyo was very, you didn't like it, right?
Yeah. All right.
Tokyo is a city, and it's always changing depending on people's preferences, tourists,
multiculturalism.
Yeah. But when it comes to Kyoto, it's preserved.
Yeah, so like...
And it's clean.
So that's the thing with Kyoto. It's like, you see a lot of... is it geishas?
I think that's what they call them.
Yeah, geishas.
Yeah.
So that's... Do I make you put up a picture again? Or?
No, go for it, yeah.
This is not a geisha, the traditional Japanese...
I'll put a picture, yeah.
You can do the face paint, or they wear the, the robes and whatnot. So you see a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like, you would have seen it too and whatnot. And like, Kyoto is more... I'd say a little more tourist space, and in the sense of there's a bit of tourist, but it's not like jam packed. You see a lot of locals, and everyone's like respectable. Everyone dresses nice, like those like what's it called? Those like that Japanese, like, I don't want to skip to it, but in Tokyo, those like they wear the mini skirts and whatnot. Those girls that like
stand outside the restaurants.
Yeah, sort of like emo and like the anime sort of
anime style, I'd say. Yeah,
like very open or whatnot. You don't see any of that in Kyoto, where everyone dresses respectable and all the men are in suits. That's another thing too. You know how like in 1950s America, it was customary to wear a suit. Like no matter what kind of position or job you did, you wear a suit. Or casual attire is a suit.
Yeah.
Kyoto is still very much like that. So is Tokyo, and it's like pretty interesting because everyone dresses really nice too. And it's like I was wearing like stuff like this, and like as a foreigner that stands out too. So like foreigner plus like very casual clothes. To them, this is like coming out of bed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's us, it's just casual and whatnot. But yeah, like Kyoto was mega, a lot of mountains and whatnot. There was a lot of tourist attractions. I only went to a couple. A lot of the best moments I had was like going into the mountains and all that on the motorbike. Yeah. Because we just rented out like little groms that just like, it barely goes 60-70 kilometers, but you just weave through traffic and whatnot. And just like, it was pretty fun. You can put up a little video of me riding in the mountains here. Yeah, that I'll send you. No, but yeah, there was that, and then there's this waterfall.
Do you want me to? Because you know how with Kez, with his Japan trips, the videos I posted them up as shorts. Do you want me to do that instead?
You can. I was gonna make like a reel because Seth. Well, I don't know if I should say his name.
No, you can say his name, Seth. Yeah.
So a mutual mate of you and Kez. Yeah. Basically, he ended up making a I think it was like 20-30 second reel.
Yeah.
And I sort of based everything I recorded just to condense it down. So I made like little short clips here and there, a couple of pictures and whatnot, just so at least when I look back at it, it just condenses the trip down to like 30 seconds or 40 seconds.
Our friends... Oh, that one. Can you...
That one, yeah?
No, not that one. The other one.
That one.
Yeah, it should be. It's... Yeah, there you go. Aiden's calling me.
Answer. Yo, bro. Yo.
Oi.
Oi. Yo, what's up?
What are you still doing there?
What do you mean? I'm recording. Why are you not here?
Have you been recording for an hour and 40 minutes?
More like 15, 20 minutes, but...
What?
What do you mean? Why?
Where are you, bro?
Why'd you catch it?
How late were you?
I wasn't late. I was on time.
Bro, on time would have been 5:30.
Bro, I told Oz 6:30, so if anything, you were
You
early.
didn't even get there at 6:30.
Aiden, you're on the podcast, mate. Say hi.
Oh. Seriously, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Why are you calling?
I was gonna ask Oz about the Pixelmon thing.
Yeah. You're delaying me from playing Pixelmon with the boys.
Sorry. All right, he'll call you back.
I didn't know you guys are still recording.
He'll
We just started. We're so late.
Are you serious?
Well, I'm serious. He's not joking. We literally been 20 minutes, not even.
Oh my god, Mirza, you're gonna be the death of all of us.
We'll call you back.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Sorry. No, you were saying about Seth's trip or Kez's trip.
Yeah, so Seth's trip, he went to Hawaii, and
It was Hawaii.
Yeah, it was Hawaii. When he went to that, it was for his honeymoon, and I told him, bro, your reels are amazing. So what he did is he would go day one of Hawaii, and he'd combine everything he's did, like travel, food, places he's been, activities, and he'd just combine it.
Into like a 15,
It was so
20
nice.
second-
I've told him like, it's. I told him I'm like props.
every
Like,
moment,
that's-
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Cliff, he rented out the Mustang and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like condensed basically a week's trip. Well, not a week. He done day 1, 2, 3 and all that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was like the main highlights. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of walking and there's a lot of private moments and whatnot. You know, just the main places that you want to see and go. But that's why I recorded that way. So you can check those 2 clips of just like. I'll just send it just like
Okay.
riding in the mountains and just like the water.
So you want me to chuck it as a short or just chuck it in the video?
Just check it.
Okay.
Would it be a headache if you just put it up there or?
My only concern is, you know how it's meant to be a podcast? If people are only listening, they're not going to be able to see it.
Oh, you're gonna.
They're gonna have to tune in. That's what I'm.
Well, tune in if you're listening.
So just okay. I'll put the 2. What video do you want me to put? You got 2?
Yeah, just riding in the mountains on the motorbike, and basically we ended up going to a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
Where it's like little stones. Like I think maybe you went to it in Kyoto. It's like little stones, and it's like on the mountain. It's like 100 stones that like are replicated. Each one's like not replicated, but each one's like unique.
Okay.
In a sort of way. But yeah, so we went there and there was tourists everywhere because the bus stop's right in front. But the only thing is, like, the whole thing, like, on TikTok and Instagram and all that, it looks like you're there for, like, 30 minutes, you know, like, enjoying the sights and all that. From the entrance, you loop around. To come back to the entrance takes about 6 minutes. 5, 6, and that's taking pictures.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So posing here for a minute and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we got to we came back to the entrance and we're like, this place is so underwhelming, you know what I mean? And then my cousin basically saw down the road, it was just like a 1-lane tunnel. It was just black tunnel. And he goes, do you want to go through that? And we're on the motorbikes and we're like, yeah, screw it. Let's go through it. You go through the tunnel. The tunnel's like probably 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It's gone through the whole mountain.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, you just pop out and it's just blossoms everywhere. Like, you know, the
Cherry blossoms, yeah.
cherry blossom area. It was like out of like a Cars movie or something. You know how that they're driving through the mountains?
Yeah.
You exit it and it's like blossoms everywhere. And you look, there's like a village in the mountain.
Yeah.
And then there's like a waterfall there. I go, what's this? Like, how come this isn't on like tourist places?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, if you were to walk it, it would have taken you 20 minutes to walk to the end and to that, by the end of the tunnel and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I go, this is worth like the walk. You know what I mean? This is not anywhere. And that's why like we ended up going in there. There was a little village. We rode to the side of the mountain to get to the village there. Saw the waterfall. There was like a little, they had like 1 or 2 touristic places. It was like a little tea shop and one was like a little handmade art gallery that the woman does and she sells the pictures and whatnot. And we went there and we're like, this is like beautiful, you know what I mean? And it's just, you won't find that anywhere on any tourists and whatnot. And one thing we realized very quickly, especially on the motorbikes, that going to the tourist places, like you're sort of going to somewhere you already know you're going to see.
Okay.
And then basically after the first day, me and my cousin just like stuff all these tourist places that if we're going to go, we know we're going to be underwhelmed. We'll just like go to areas that seem pretty local or just seem interesting. And we ended up just riding through the mountains and through the rural areas where no bus stop, or it would be like a 40-minute bus ride or hour train ride to get, well, not a train ride, but like hour bus ride to get there. And you go there and just like really nice places that are only like for the locals. And it's like you sort of experience it where it's like you're not going at a touristic place to look at somewhere specific and just head back. You're sort of like experiencing that whole area for the whole day, and the restaurants and like the people and just the environment and whatnot. Which is like, well, that's why I recommend like getting bikes, because when you go train, you go hotel, train station, location, then back to train station, next, you know what I mean? You're not getting that experience in between. And that's why like on a motorbike and car, like we're stopping, let's say we're going to go somewhere specific. We made like 1 or 2 plans. Yeah. Along the way, we probably stopped 4 or 5 times the stuff that are on the side and whatnot. And we just stopped the bikes, hopped out. There was like an antique motorbike shop that we went to, and they had like all these really cool motorbikes and whatnot. It was like the guy's personal collection. Like even like, you know that hill? And he has a big temple with the layers. Did you go to that by any chance?
What, the red?
It's like on top of the hill. It's like a big temple with like layers. It's like a marketish sort of thing. It was somewhat touristic. I can't figure out what it's called. I feel like you and your wife would have gone there. It's like a very big tourist attraction. We just happened to.
Okay.
It's like stone. It's like stone, cobblestone on the ground, and you like walk up the hill.
Doesn't ring a bell.
I'll put a picture because we went there during nighttime because we were here. Here's again. I'm trying to keep it audio based, but for those people.
No, the pictures are fine. Yeah. I'm just worried about the because we're describing the pictures. Video you can't describe. Yeah. But just tune in for the video. Yeah. But the photos, of course, tune in if you want.
This is another major place in Kyoto that's very popular to tourists, and especially in the daytime. We went in the night, so it was empty. Apparently in the day, like you can't even walk through these streets. It's just so crowded with tourists. Yeah. But we went during the nighttime, and a lot of places are really beautiful during the night, and it's like really empty. Obviously, the stores aren't open and all that. Yeah. But it's just breathable. You know what I mean? Yeah. So here's like so this is. I'll send you a video. This is a video of just like that area, the cobblestone area, walking up a hill. And this is it. I don't know how long it's gonna play. This should be long enough. And this is the temple at the end. Yeah. It's basically like probably about 20-meter temple, 20-meter high temple, maybe 10, 15. And basically it's like layered. And it's at the very top. And it was like, you walk up there, that's like the main attraction there. So just put that over there too. But yeah, so with Kyoto, I would say like Kyoto, and I haven't been to Osaka. You and Kez went Osaka, and from what I hear...
Kez didn't go Osaka, did he? He didn't go Osaka.
He went Universal, didn't he?
He didn't. He went to Disney. He didn't go Universal. I'm the only one.
Yeah, and Osaka would have been worth it. If I had 2-3 more days from Kyoto, I would have went straight to Osaka, but I was running low on time just because we were just cruising around and just enjoying the environment.
For you, Kyoto was the best. For me, Osaka was the best. Because Osaka
I wish I went, because everyone says Osaka's like twice as better than Kyoto. And Kyoto was so good. So it's like going to Osaka would have just been
Osaka is where, first of all, Universal. Yeah. And Universal was the best.
You got Harry Potter there, you got Mario. Yeah. And from the videos they show, it's like... Plus, did you do the Mario Kart ride in Osaka?
In Osaka. That's the other thing I was going to say. So, literally, like, my favorite memories and... adventures was in Osaka. That's why for me Osaka was the best.
That's the thing. Like for next trip, if I was to go, it's sort of a waste to go Japan again in sort of sense if you have the freedom to go anywhere. But if it was like a somewhat budget trip or want to not spend too much on a plane ticket, I would go Japan again, but do the whole left side. So you and your wife did most of the left. Did you go Hiroshima by any chance? Or
no?
Oh, so it was more so Osaka, Kyoto, Tokyo.
Yes.
And you went one more.
No, that's it.
Really?
That's the main cities. Yeah.
And in Tokyo, you went to different...
In Tokyo, we walked so much. In Osaka, we walked a lot. You know how you said, for instance, it was good for you to have the bikes because you got that in between?
Yeah, and plus...
For us, I feel like we got that too because we walked so much.
Plus, daily, I would have said I easily saved like 3 hours of public transport, 3-4 hours of... Because the thing is, like, it's... Like a train station would be like 10 minutes off the path of your hotel. In general, you hop on the train. Yeah. From the train, you're taking a couple stops to reach where you want to go. Yeah. And then, whether it's good or bad, you're stuck there. You got to experience because stuff are close, but stop making noise. But stuff are close, like a 5-10 minute drive. Yeah. But once you had public transport, walking, it turns into 20-30 minutes. You know. Yeah. What I mean? That's why I would highly recommend getting your international license. Go get a car, motorbike. It's worth it by the end of it. Just the freedom you have of traveling around. And it ends up costing not the same, but like around close enough to it. You know what I mean?
For us, Kyoto was the worst for that because obviously there's not, it's not a city. So for us, our hotel was 30-minute walk from the train station.
Actual.
So we had to literally walk 30 minutes with all our luggage just to go back.
So that was where I stayed. This is where that market was. I'm guessing you guys went to.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's like the.
This is Kyoto.
Yeah.
Or is it?
This is Kyoto.
Oh yeah.
So you have the Imperial Palace. That was a really big disappointment. So.
Okay.
What is it? Kyoto Imperial Palace. Biggest. Did you go to that?
What is it meant to be? Tell us.
So it's the guy who like basically the ruler of Kyoto back in the 1600s. Yeah, he built a big palace.
Yeah.
In Kyoto, it's massive. It's pretty big. You know what I mean? Like one side to the other, it takes you like 2 hours to walk it. It's pretty big. And basically, when he wanted to move to Tokyo, he's like, "I'm gonna be gone, but preserve this while I'm gone." And basically, everywhere we read, it was like, "Oh, the Imperial Palace, you got to go to." They don't tell you that what it is it's a big garden, botanical garden sort of thing. The palace is in the middle, but it's closed to the public. So you're basically walking around the palace, which is closed 24/7, unless it's like certain tours once or twice a year.
Okay.
And it was our biggest disappointment because like from the front gate to the palace, it was like 40-minute walk.
Mm-hmm.
And just to get around the palace. And then we're like, oh, it's closed. All right. And it's like, there was like the ruler's palace, and you had the workers and the servants and whatnot. That was closed too. And you had like the garden area, that was closed. So all it is like just like a picnic area. And we ended up spending 3-4 hours and sort of wasting it on that, which I highly regret. Don't go to the Imperial Palace. It's just a picnic area for the locals, you know what I mean? Like, it's nice, like open grass. Your cat's really trying to get into it. He's like scratching at that door hard.
Yeah. You guys will probably hear it. I'm sorry about that. There's nothing I can do. Even if I push him away, he's going to come back.
Yeah.
And so,
Nijo Castle was pretty good. The market was pretty good. Tokyo Tower was pretty good. Kyoto Tower, sorry, was pretty good.
I heard there was a snap that you sent us because there was a couple Snapchats you sent us.
Yeah.
There was one where you were like peeing yourself.
Right, so I have a fear of falling, not heights, fear of falling. Yeah. Okay. And obviously, if there's glass beneath you, your brain goes, we're gonna die, we're gonna fall. And it's like I can't control it. Even though I have somewhat fear of heights, I'll end up going to the 3 tallest buildings. Yeah. So I went to Kyoto Tower, Tokyo Tower, and the Tokyo Skytree.
So which one was the best?
The Skytree.
The Skytree, okay.
Yeah, your wife said it was like top 10 tallest.
Yeah.
I actually need to search this out. Do I search and prove it wrong here?
Search it up. Go for it.
In 2011, it was the tallest tower in the world. And the third tallest structure in the world? Oh, all right. So it's like 3 or 4. All right. Is that really? It didn't feel that high. Like I felt like I've been to higher, like Q1 in Queensland and whatnot. But yeah, like Skytree was pretty good and whatnot. And yeah, just like travel. Sorry, like we're gonna get to Tokyo. Don't worry, in a second. Yeah. But yeah, like with Kyoto, there was just so many good places to go, and the people are so nice, and like the markets there are really good, and there was like. We ended up having to go to a kebab joint. We were trying to stick to the local food and whatnot.
Yeah,
just
trying
like
to
the
get
Japanese experience.
Yep.
But then eventually everything was pretty packed out or close, so we ended up just riding the motorbikes to a kebab joint. Yeah. And my cousin's like, "Why are we in Japan having a kebab?" You know,
we did the same thing.
Oh, did you actually?
Because I don't know. Did I mention this last time? But because my wife has celiac disease, unfortunately, she can't have gluten. So we had like Indian food. We had kebab one night. You know, we didn't have a lot of the traditional, like, for instance, what do they call it? The sushi trains? Do they call it sushi trains?
Yeah.
So we didn't have stuff like that. But I know you would have had stuff like that. You've been to a train?
I'm not. Me and my cousin, we don't eat fish really. Like.
Oh yeah.
So we don't really like fish, so we like.
How can you not like fish and go to Japan?
There's other stuff. They got a lot of wagyu. They're famous for their wagyu and their ramen noodles and whatnot, and their like broths and all that. So that was like another.
So what was your favorite dish there? Like traditional?
I was just looking at that before too.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if someone opened this in Melbourne, they would become a millionaire.
Okay.
It is called sukiyaki. Yeah. So what it is basically it's a hot pot. So they give you a hot pot in the sort of sense. What am I saying?
Yeah.
It's a hot pot, yeah. So it's like already heated up, but it's on a fire.
Yeah.
And what they do is they have like mushroom noodles and
Yeah.
just like some celery and whatnot.
Yeah.
And what they do is they chuck their chicken broth
Yeah.
in it,
Yeah.
and they chuck a bit of soy sauce. And basically, what that is now you cook your meat using the hot broth.
Yeah.
So, and that meat cooks, and it's like thin slices of Wagyu. Oh, my mouth's getting watery talking about it. It was some of the best food I've ever had in my life.
But
And
you
I've
know
been to a
they
lot
do
of-
have hot pots here in Australia.
Nothing compares to this one. Because
Okay.
another thing too, any Muslims out there that go, it's called the halal tax. And like you probably know. You didn't eat too much.
Yeah. What halal
So
tax?
Kez was talking about it. So to go to like a normal ramen joint for you and your partner, 2 people, yeah?
Yeah.
Australian would cost you $20, maybe.
Okay.
25 if you order extra. Now, if you go to a halal joint, yeah, and they're guaranteeing you like halal meat and Wagyu and all this just basic stuff that other places also, over there Wagyu is pretty basic. It's not basic, but like pretty widespread, like everyone has Wagyu.
Yeah.
You go there and that $25 meal turns into $50, $60
Oh wow.
just because of the halal guarantee.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? And like some people say it's sort of them taking advantage, but at the same time, because they only get really good and like really good sourced meat, at the end of the day, you are paying for better quality.
Yeah.
And I'll say this:
True.
like even if you're watching and you aren't like have like halal restrictions,
Yeah.
even if you just search up the halal joints, they just tend to be better than the other sort of made together and just chucked together sort of meals.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why that's actually another thing. Even if you're not Muslim, you just search up the halal joints, and they're like guaranteed the better meats because they source it from like really strict places that only do well cuts and
Yeah. You know, we're lucky. I'd say we're really lucky to be in Australia, especially in Melbourne, because we have so much when it comes to halal. Like you go to any restaurant, like it depends on your preference or not, but you can go to a restaurant that sells like bacon and pig.
Multiculturalism too. Like
You go to restaurants, they sell pig, they sell alcohol. You ask them, do you have halal options? They go, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, because most of the meat manufacturers here are halal.
Yeah, and
So it's just
like you
it's
have
just
like
awesome.
you have so many different cultures and all that don't eat pork.
Yeah.
Where in Japan, most of the population, even the foreigners,
Yeah.
eat pork. So if you go to like most ramen joints that you don't know if it's thing,
Yeah.
their broths are made from like beef, pork. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's mixed in there. A lot of places they'll cook their food with sake, which is their alcohol. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just their natural way of cooking, and they won't tell you if it's on there because that's just known to them.
That's just how it is.
That's why it's like restricted. But yeah, sukiyaki. It's like their hot broth, and like I said, the thin slices you put it in the broth.
Yeah.
You cook the meat, and it has all the juices and everything that gets absorbed into the meat.
Yeah.
When you eat it, it's like you know. And there was another thing. So what they do is in the hot pot they put fairy floss to sweeten your meat.
Oh,
And-
wow.
Yeah. And they give you egg mixed with like some cool foam the guy did. Highly recommend. It was not on any TripAdvisor or anything like that. That's
Okay.
why I was like, they're wasted because it was 5-star with like 1,000 reviews. You know what I mean? Like that is really hard to get anywhere.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that's why me and my cousin were blown away by it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the halal tax. Anywhere you go, that's halal. You're paying
Okay.
almost double.
Okay.
And then yeah, so Kyoto was good and all that. Great temples, great like show around. People
Yeah.
are really nice there and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then we got to Tokyo, and Tokyo was pretty good, all right, for the start. Because we went to Shibuya, which is like a touristic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once you exit that and you enter the sort of local scene of the city, it's basically like any CBD, you know what I mean? You have the drunks, you have the dirty, and then like, you know what I mean? Not that much homeless.
So you're saying people would, because usually people say Japan is such a clean country. You're saying the reason people say that is because they never usually leave that circle bubble of where tourists would go.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as you step out.
That's what, because
Yeah.
another thing too, I was explaining to Oz before, like, I'm surprised you didn't realize it. So they don't have a formal form of public rubbish collection. Like here you have your green and red bin that just collects it all, yeah?
Yeah.
Over there, it's basically you have to put out 4 just the bags itself at the front of your curb, and 1 bag is for your cardboard, one's for your plastic bottles, one's for stuff that can be burned by the incinerator, and one is like food waste.
Okay.
So you have 4 different bags each person if they live in an apartment block, so you just have sort of rubbish bags clumping up in front of the apartments and whatnot.
Weird.
Yeah, and that's their form of rubbish, where one guy in the truck comes, he'll grab each one and then throw it in. where it's not like a truck that carries a bin and chucks it into a machine. You know what I mean?
So it's just exposed rubbish. And I'm
Exposed.
sure...
What a lot of people in Kyoto did is they put like a big net over their rubbish so nothing can get to it and whatnot. The thing in Tokyo is they don't do that. You have these big rats that basically just squirm their way into the plastic and whatnot. And like we were riding around on motorbikes and we like ended up parking somewhere and my cousin's like, oh, there's a rat in that bag. Like he thought we were only one bat. So we thought there was only one rat in the bag.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, like give it a little kick. Yeah. Like kick it. Like 11, 12 rats just like come out of that bag. Disperse. And these are like big rats, you know what I mean?
Giant,
like, size as a water bottle and it's just like, you know what I mean? It was like really, I was like, wow, this place is pretty, it's not cleanest.
Yeah.
It's pretty dumb the way they sort of do their public rubbish.
Yeah.
It's all just exposed. And if you don't put a net on it, rats are just going to come. When I say...
How do they do it in the main area then where the tourists live? Like...
you went there. You know how it's a lot of alleyways?
Yeah.
All those apartments are linked to one alleyway. So you have the front and you have the back. And they just like put all of that exposed stuff. That's why if you go to the front, it's very clean and whatnot, you know what I mean? But you start entering the alleyways, that's where that smell hits you, you know what I mean?
Because it's like with Japan, you'd notice as well, they don't have, if you have rubbish with you, the culture there is you carry it. Yeah, like there's no rubbish, like there's no bins to put it.
So this is another thing too that surprised me, that sort of annoyed me too. Since they don't have a form of rubbish collection, they also don't have public rubbish bins.
Yeah.
So unless the bin's in a store, you're taking that rubbish home.
Yeah.
So we would go to like, whether it's just like have like a tea or a coffee or whatever, and just like whatever we had in our hands, or we bought a drink from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
That rubbish is going to stay in my bag till I get back to my apartment.
Exactly.
Because unless I empty it in the subway or like at a store I go into, there's no public rubbish bin.
No,
chuck that in.
There isn't.
Which tends to get annoying when you're like gone place to place, or if it's like a big clump of rubbish, or they give you a bag worth, you know what I mean? Like,
I remember one time I had a banana peel and I had a banana. I finish it. I have a banana peel in my hand. I'm like, what do I do with this? Like,
and what
I can't put it. Let me fold it and put it in my pocket.
Did you actually just put it in your pocket?
No.
No, but that's the thing. The locals there, they carry like a bag with them. That they just like always just have a bag on them to chuck their rubbish in or whatnot. And it's like, it can seem clean and organized in like, if you're in Kyoto and like small cities, but in Tokyo, you just like, the amount of rats that were in like I said, the front's clean, that touristy, you walk down the path. But you start entering the somewhat alleyways that, don't think it's like an American alley. It's just a side street. There's still a road on that street that you can fit a car through. You know what I mean? It's just, not people go through there because it's just the way to get to your house. Yeah. Like people's houses are there. There's no stores. Or if you want to cut through the street, you go through that, you know?
Yeah.
So as we were walking through the side streets, me and my cousin were just like going a little further onto like, we're just following wherever there's more, like cool places or whatnot. And we entered like an alleyway, and it was like just me and him.
Yeah.
And you walk and just one building, pretty dark whatnot, has like 7, 8 like Japanese guys, big tattooed up and whatnot in suits, and then they're just at the door. And they're not bouncers, because we saw the bouncers. The bouncers are just like skinny guys, or like just one person sitting there, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure this would have been like sort of gathering or whatnot. Because another thing also at the front of the place you had the big muscular Japanese guys in suits with like headphones and whatnot. And you also had McLaren, a Rolls Royce, a Ferrari,
nice.
All these really expensive cars parked out, you know what I mean? We saw a Maybach as well. You wouldn't be too familiar with it, but Aiden would know too. We saw like these like really expensive cars that like you won't find anywhere in Melbourne, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's just like we're like, this Yakuza meeting or something like that happening in there.
Yeah.
But with Tokyo,
maybe they're just doing a podcast, bro. What are you judging?
They're just all coming together. It's like, who'd you murder today? You know what I mean? That it's sort of, that was the hot, like Tokyo has like a couple big supermarkets and a couple places, but touristic rise, you know what I mean? It's just like any other sort of CBD area. You're not really experiencing Japan. You're experiencing like a sort of westernized version of it.
Almost like a made-up version for tourists.
Yeah, like nothing's cultural there. The food is very westernized. They have a lot of burgers, Carl's Jr.'s and whatnot, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's sort of their idea. Yeah. And you have a lot of openness and just like revealing, and it's like... Too much
tourist traps.
Yeah, because with the tourists too, like with Shinjuku, they like I saw tourists entering and like covering the eyes because like these girls are in like pretty revealing outfits and whatnot, and they're like covering their kids' eyes because they don't know what's going on. You know,
Yeah.
they're just like entering like what looks like a supermarket sort of area.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not a supermarket, but like a market district sort of thing. And then yeah, it's just like that was sort of the vibe we got from.
Could you press that one? Thanks.
That was sort of vibe we got from Tokyo. And another thing too, again, go rent a car, go rent a motorbike in Tokyo. It saved us so. Because another thing, in Kyoto, the trains, yeah, you hop on and it's pretty spacious. You know what I mean? Like you got like, there's plenty of room to stand around. You go to Tokyo, and they imagine like a normal Melbourne carriage, yeah, just one carriage, and imagine like 400 or 500 people in that. They actually like they can
squish you in.
Yeah, they squish you in, and I had this like 2.2 meter tall guy rubbing his like sort of like, you know what I mean. He was facing toward me. He's like rubbing his sort of on me. You can't get away because you're just squished up like that. You know what I mean? And I was like, "Excuse me," you know. And then like he turned around and just pointed at another guy, and all the women are clumped up together. It's genuinely like a mosh pit.
Yeah.
Sort of. And he was like, I hopped on it once because we didn't end up getting the motorbikes straight away.
Yeah.
But after that, I was like, my cousin, we're staying on this train and going to where we're going to rent it out. I'm not going to travel in this train anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've said that like 50 times. I just realized, what do you mean? It's such a filler word for me. If you go back, now that...
What do you mean?
Man, it's such a filler word.
Yeah.
I thought I got rid of it, but I've been saying it a lot.
There's a lot of improvements we're going to make. Bro, the thing is, episode 15, I'm really staying dedicated to uploading every week.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
I'm just really, like, just same as you. I'm sure you're the same, where... When we get to like episode 100, I wonder how much of an improvement, like our speech, the way we speak.
I feel like Aiden's gonna, like, Aiden can be somewhat quiet sometimes.
What? You haven't seen me and him do the podcast. It was pretty good.
I want to see.
You know what? I've realized something. Aiden is an amazing person to do a podcast with, and he's not quiet when it comes to a topic he likes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he's just got to find a topic he's interested in.
Because even like this conversation, if we had all four of us together.
I know Aiden, like remember when we did Kez's Japan trip? He got bored.
Yeah.
Because he turns off, you know.
Yeah, because Aiden hasn't gone to Japan since he was 4 or 5 years old, and you're not going to remember much from 20 years ago, you know?
You told me a couple things before we started the podcast. You don't tell me the whole story, but you told me like little like things to get me excited. You said that you nearly got into a fight with someone.
I ended up bumping into... So I was at a cafe with my cousin. We're just talking in English, like Australian and whatnot, just English speaking to each other.
Yeah.
And the guy next to us happened to be from Sydney. So he was about 40, 50 years old. And he happened to be living in... He moved to Japan and he happened to be living there for about 15, 16 years. And I ended up being curious because I was like, oh, what if like... I'm curious how someone moving from Australia to Japan, how their lifestyle would be and whatnot. And he ended up like being pretty like accurate, like in the sense of everything I wanted to know. And like we went through like house prices and all that. I'll get to that just as I'll skim through it real quick. But one of the main things that surprised me was apparently just the culture in Japan is they're very racist towards foreigners.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is what I was going to say. So they are very racist when it comes to basically giving benefits or helping out foreigners in the sense of, obviously, if you're at a cafe, they want to sell you stuff, they want to make profit off you, and yeah, they in general, like they are nice in a sort of way, but in sort of from what that Aussie guy said, and he wasn't like pure Aussie, he was like pretty kickback, knowledgeable, he was a pilot, he worked for, I think, Jetstar Japan.
China Airlines.
No. In China, I was an idiot, bro. No, but he worked for Jetstar Japan.
Yeah.
And he basically shared like his experiences because his wife's Japanese and his son. So he said the way Japanese society works is if, let's say I moved there and I got an office job, yeah? Even if I was experienced 10 years in that position, they would choose a Japanese person to promote working less than me just because they are Japanese.
Oh.
So that's the culture over there. So if you're a foreigner, you are already behind in a sort of racist term where you're on you're segregated from the promotions and the benefits of business in a sort of sense. So I can sell a really good product, for example, and a Japanese guy could sell half as good product.
Yeah.
And most companies will choose that Japanese guy
Just because you're a foreigner, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the system there.
Mm.
And you can see it as racist. Like when I explained it to my mum, she saw it as a very patriotic thing to sort of do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she related it to Turkey, which currently, right now with Turkey, they are employing a lot of immigrants for Turkish known like roles or respected Turkish roles, like doctors, dentists, lawyers, you know what I'm about to say it again. But yeah, so Turkey's at that system where they are basically letting everyone take any position where Japanese society and people, besides the benefits of taking your money in a sort of touristic state, if you're a citizen too, you're already behind. Like they are going to be very, they're going to segregate you basically to, you're going to have to work twice as hard for a position that a Japanese citizen would like not even have to work for, or you know, he'll just get it. And he was basically explaining how.
So does that matter though when it comes to like actually speaking the language though? Like I would understand if you don't speak the language why they would choose a Japanese person because he knows the language.
So another story this guy explained was, so he's Australian, his wife's Japanese, so his son is mixed. So technically half Australian, half Japanese. Yeah. When his school basically, most of the teachers and people found out of this fact where he's not pure Japanese. He ended up getting segregated and basically sort of separated from school activities by the school, just because his son, like the son, was a foreigner, and that's how deep they go even into the school system, where they sort of separate the foreign kids and the pure Japanese, where they give more benefits to the Japanese kids.
Okay,
and that's how deep it goes. Where it's like it's the way their society. As a tourist, you won't see it because you see those arigatos, konnichiwas, you know, thank you for coming, sort of, you know. Just the basic stuff. But yeah, when you live there, it's very different. And he was basically saying if you were to move here, the best thing you can do is basically... So we're Turks and we're Muslims.
Yeah.
He said best thing you'd want to do is find the Turkish community here or the Muslim community and join that. And that's how you basically would get comfortable here.
Yeah.
He said you would be pretty stupid to just enter a random neighborhood. And most of the people, all the people in a building are very close. So they will know each other and all that. And if you were to just enter a random building in a very, I guess, segregated or traditional place, they're going to be very against you and try and kick you out and make complaints and all that. And that's basically their society over there that you don't really see. That's where the two-facedness sort of...
Yeah, so I guess we're kind of going a little deeper into Japan in terms of if we were to actually move and live there. Yeah. Personally, for me, I would never live in Japan, like ever. I'd never live in Japan.
It's very, I'll say this, it's very bad. So when you went, did you see, one thing I got surprised, a lot of people own G-Wagons and Ferraris and McLarens and a lot of rich, like expensive sports cars. Did you notice that too while you were there?
I saw some expensive sports cars. I saw G-Wagons.
The reason this is, in Australia, obviously real estate's like the big market. You buy a house for $400,000, it becomes $600,000 later down the track. The way it works in Japanese society and their economy is houses depreciate. So most people buy a house for $300,000 knowing it will drop. Yeah. And it will drop over time, and it does. So what they invest their money into are cars, basically. Oh. Because importing cars are very cheap, unlike Australia. Okay. And because a lot of cars are made in Japan and like those European areas, it's very... Some are domestic, so it's almost half price compared to what it is here. Okay. And importing European cars are very cheap too. So a lot of $100,000 cars here are about 60, 70 over there. So that's why, and another thing, cars don't depreciate. So that's why a lot of people in Japan, they invest all their money into buying like a $300,000 Ferrari or a G-Wagon. Almost every second, third person had a G-Wagon there. It's like, over here you maybe see like a rich Lebo or an Arab or like a rich Aussie have...
That is the weirdest thing, you know.
So it's completely backwards. So everyone... So a year's wage is about 50, 60,000 Australian, and average house is 200 to 300. So you're working like 5-6 years off to pay that house. That's why they just, after they do, they just invest in the cars. And they'll pull out a $300,000 loan for a car and just work to pay that off. And it's like they just park it there. So that's their thing. And then, so where this relates to, and you know, I said the segregation as well, it's not just to foreigners, but it's sort of to Muslims as well.
Oh, okay.
So this is where basically I almost ended up getting into a fist fight with a Japanese guy. we're in Kyoto. I'm on the train, and me and my cousin were standing up. Yeah, we're quiet, so we're not like disturbing anyone.
Yeah.
And my cousin bumps me in the shoulder, and he goes, "Did you see what that guy's doing?" And I go, "Which guy?" And he basically points at a guy sitting down, and across him is a hijabi Japanese woman, like sort of nodded off.
Yeah.
Just sitting there, not disturbing anyone. She just nodded off a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm on the guy's side, so I can see his phone, what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah? And he ended up starting to take a couple pictures of this hijabi woman's face, sort of breast area, and basically he's just taking pictures, and he's looking around like, but his phone's like sort of hidden between his legs.
Yeah.
But I can see him taking the photos. And then at this point, like, I'm not one to stay quiet about it. If, like, in social situations, I forgot the word, but I remember Kes said it. You know how, let's say that situation where someone falls and a lot of people walk past up until one person helps.
Yeah.
And then everyone else starts to help.
Yeah.
So I would like to think of myself as that person that
Starts at the first person to...
Yeah, so I know. So I see it happen.
Yeah.
And I just go to my cousin in Turkish. I go, nah, like, that's like pretty messed up,
Yeah.
So I end up so the guy's sitting down, I end up standing right in front of him.
Yeah.
So he's looking at like my crotch area, yeah?
Yeah.
He looks up and I basically reach out my hand and I go, "Give me the phone." And he's basically sort of in shock because he's like, "Oh, like, does he know?" I'm guessing his thought process, does he know I took the pictures or not? But I go, "Give me the phone." I say quietly first. He sort of gives me this sort of shell shock, "Oh, what are you saying?" sort of thing. And then I scream it again and I go, "Give me the effing phone." And then at this point, Japanese, like anyone that's been to Japan knows the trains are very quiet. So when you start seeing a foreigner start screaming at a 40, 50-year-old Japanese guy, everyone's like looking at me at this point. And I reach out my hand and I go, "Give me the phone. I'm going to belt you." And then whether he understood or not, he knows from my tone that if he doesn't put something in my hand, like, it's going to go down, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
And then basically I point at his phone. And then at this point, he realizes sort of what I want to do, pulls out the phone, and I go delete it. He goes to the photos, deletes every single one.
Wow.
Yeah. And at that point, basically, he sort of like understood, like, he got caught out and like he's deleting the phones and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm like to my cousin, like my cousin's next to me, and he goes, "If anyone comes up, or if anyone starts a fight, don't worry, like, I got your back."
Yeah.
And at this point, he deletes the phones. Everyone's sort of looking at me like, what just sort of happened?
Yeah.
No one understood. No one saw the situation, yeah?
Yeah.
And at this point, like, I'm already, like, fired up and, like, I'm pissed at the guy and whatnot. And, like, I can hold my ground, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, like, I feel like I can,
You've got a fighting background.
Yeah, so I can, like, hold my ground. I'm not intimidated by anything. And this guy's 40, 50, and from my eyes, this guy's just, like, a weak pervert in my eyes, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So deletes the phone, puts the phone down, and for the next 10 minutes, I'm just in front of him staring at him. And his head's just looking down at the floor the whole time. And, like, he's trying to do that, like, look a little more up to see if my feet are sort of still there. And the whole 10 minutes, I was just there staring at him. And then at this point, like, I'm like, all he has to do is, like, just say something stupid or act up, and he's going to cop a punch, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Because what he did is the stupidest thing you can do. You're just taking a picture of a sleeping woman, you know, or, like, the place you shouldn't be. And, so at that point, all he had to say was, all he had to do was something stupid, not give me the phone or do what I wanted, and he would have copped the belt.
So did he give you the phone, or did he just show you deleting them?
Nah, so basically I was like that.
Yeah.
He was like, give me the phone. I screamed it louder. At this point, I'm like deaf staring at me. Like, you can see, like, I feel like from his point of view, you can see the anger and frustration in my eyes.
Yeah.
And basically from there, obviously, I'm guessing he guessed that I wanted the phone.
Yeah.
And then in front of me, he deleted.
Yeah. So a question for you.
And that's why
when he took the photo, did you hear the click?
No. So I'm standing there by the doors, because I like to stand by doors. If it opens, I'll walk out so people can walk out. I'll hop back in. But I like to be next to the doors. So I'm obviously next to the doors, and the way Japanese trains are, you would have been there. It's like American where they sit against the windows.
Yeah.
It's not rows. It's against the wall. So when I was standing there, you can see basically if someone's holding their phone in front of them, I'm stationed to the right, about 4 or 5 people down. Yeah. And between the phone and his head, if you count that as a position to stand.
The reason I asked, right, is because I'm pretty sure this is Japan. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. That they actually, it's such a big problem over there with so many, perverts, so many people taking pictures. that they actually have every phone. You can't turn it off. Like every time you take a picture, it makes that audible noise.
Really?
So that's why I'm asking, did you hear it? Or
No,
did the guy find a way to maybe turn that off?
My cousin was standing there and I'm just keeping my eyes to myself, you know, I'm just looking out the door outside the train window.
Yeah.
And my cousin just happened to be scanning it and saw him taking the pictures. But like, I already knew that. I didn't expect in Kyoto because, like I said, it's a very respectable area.
Yeah.
And everyone's to themselves and everyone's well dressed and whatnot. And then I would understand that happening in Tokyo because, like I said, the trains are so clumped up together. And it's to the point where you look down the train and these women are up against like guys pretty well. You know, all it will take is a guy to start reaching or try and grab or like do something.
It's very easy to make it look like an accident or make it look like...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another thing too is like, it's customary to stay quiet on the train. So if someone was to start screaming at someone, I would assume that they would feel like too on the spotlight and too rude, so they would keep it to themselves.
Well, I feel like also Japanese people are very to themselves, and it's like even in traditional anime, you know, which is Japanese cartoons, the women are always, you know, usually shy, which I think that, you know, correlates to real life.
Great. I'm happy you bring it because you reminded me of another thing I spoke with that Australian guy.
Okay.
So another thing too. So in Japanese culture, it's very male dominated in the sense of. So he was saying, so the expectations of women in Japanese culture is that woman can go to university and study for 4 or 5 years, get a master's and study for 6. But once she gets married, she becomes a housewife.
Huh.
That is their tradition and that's their like norm.
Okay.
You know how like Australia is pretty like westernized and modernized where it's like men and women are sort of equal and whatnot. Over there, he said like once I got married, his wife was, I think she had a no, not a doctorate. Master's below doctorates, yeah?
Okay.
So she had a master's in, not agriculture, maybe culture or something like that. I know it was like one of those like artsy sort of ones. And he said she had a master's and when we got married, she, like her expectation of herself was to become a housewife. And that's just the way they're brought up.
At that point, what's the point of studying then if you're not
That's just the way they are. It's... Like, women in the business world isn't really a topic or working, you know, like, that's...
The way it is here, unfortunately, is if you're not both working, it's, like, impossible to have enough money.
Yeah, like, over there, because 50, 60s, like... And the thing with Japan, the government really, like, messes with you. Taxes are really high. I think it's, like, 50%, almost 60%. No, not 60. He said from 11,000, they tax him 4. So how much would that be? About 40. By that math, that's 40%. But that pilot said he was making $230 a year and was getting taxed about 80 or 90. So quite a bit, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, so that's another thing Japanese norm where the women are meant to be very submissive and not speak out. That's why I would understand on these Japanese trains. Like certain situations like that happening.
It's a big problem. I think Japan's biggest problem is that, and it's one of the reasons why I would never live there, is because even we've talked about it before. I think it might have been cut out, but I'll mention it here in a short, condensed, and respectful way. They have things that children shouldn't see out in the open. When you go to a shop, it's just behind a maybe tiny curtain. Anyone could just see it. I'm sure you guys can imagine what I mean.
The more erotic sort of stuff that
yeah, and like it's just more accessible, and it's part of their culture almost, which is
even
not
even the posters like in Shinjuku and Shibuya. You know these and maid restaurants. They would have like half-naked women like on their posters saying this is what we do. So you know,
it's just they're even like for instance when you think of Japan, you think anime. Even anime, think of every single anime that you've seen. It's like there's always that one pervy character.
Yeah, and it's understandable now. But yeah, so that sort of thing, if you are a woman and you go to Japan, just be careful, especially in trains and all that.
I would not recommend any sister to go to Japan by themselves without a man, like a mahram. Because I personally think I wouldn't like... For instance, I wouldn't send my wife there.
No, it's not hostile, but they're not going to start like actually assaulting or anything.
Yeah, I know.
But like, unless on the train or whatnot, where they can sort of get away. But they're more so just like pictures and just like recording and sort of stuff like that, where they're going to try and get like a digital digital privacy. They're invading your digital privacy in a sort of way. They're basically, those are sort of the things to watch out, and those are sort of the things a lot of people don't know, because when they go, they have that touristic experience of the happiness and all the there was one restaurant you go in, and every time a new person entered, the head chef would say arigato, and all the workers, 6-7 workers, would say arigato.
Yeah.
So it's like every minute or so, everyone just say arigato, and it's like a really comfortable environment, you know.
Okay.
So that was like another experience, and it's like they're very friendly to tourists, but like I said at the very beginning, I went there as a mindset of I want to become more of a traveler and experience sort of like the outside the touristic bubble that they sort of have, and then it's like
fair enough.
Yeah, most of it was good, but just that one or two experience that I had.
Yeah.
Just how dirty Shinjuku was, and just like that guy on the train as well. Where another thing as well with that, you know how for 10 minutes I was just standing in front of him, just like sort of staring him down.
Yeah.
In that period, my cousin was like, maybe back off a little, because if someone reports us to the cop, this is another thing. Sorry, I keep adding to it. I'm just remembering more of the guy's conversation. So another thing as well is the police are also, this is another tip for you guys, if anyone goes to Japan, don't interfere with the police or try to avoid the police, because you know I said it's segregating the cultures against foreigners. Another thing with the police is they are also against foreigners. So we were on the motorbikes,
Yeah.
So even though most of the speed limits were 50, 60, they don't have speed cameras, but if a police officer was to pull us over going 10 over, a Japanese citizen would just get a warning. As a foreigner, most police officers, they have the ability to detain you for 30 days.
Oh, wow.
And this is just like their right as a police officer to do to anybody.
Oh.
And with the police, they are very against foreigners. So this guy that I met, the pilot, basically, he was explaining the story. He got hit by a Japanese guy, and that Japanese guy ran a red light, and he hit him.
Okay.
Going through a green, So they have their own police section for traffic. So the traffic police came, and they immediately said that the foreigner, the pilot, was at fault for that car accident. Straight away, like without even hearing the stories or whatnot. And they maybe heard the stories, but he said, even after a brief explanation of the story, they straight away said he was at fault.
Wow.
And that he had to pay that guy for his damages. And then he ended up taking it to court and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the court sort of said, all right, he did run the red, but they made the foreigner, the pilot, pay 10% of the damages for failure to check. So failure to negligence, that's the word. So it was 10%
negligence of what?
For not seeing that he was running a red light.
What?
Yeah, so
how does that make any sense?
Exactly. So even he was like, I'm paying 10% of an accident just because I wasn't more aware.
Stupid.
That's so stupid. That's how they sort of even get you as a foreigner. They were he was saying if he was a Japanese guy, they would have put him at fault, and they if a Japanese guy was in my position, he wouldn't have to do anything. And he said on those tolls and all that, they don't have speed cameras, so you can speed all you want. And he goes, but if a cop's waiting there and he pulls you over, going about 20 or 30 over, he's going to put you in prison straight away.
Yeah.
And he's going to detain you for 30 days.
Yeah.
Just because he can. And he's like, in that situation ever happens, this is a tip for people, he's like, just keep talking. Annoy them so much with just your apology and your forgiveness.
Yeah.
And how sorry you are for everything, that they just sort of get annoyed and just let you off with a warning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, if you just be quiet and let it happen, they're just going to have the time and comfortability to just, because they're already against you. What you're trying to do is make them sort of feel sorry that they're against you.
Yeah.
If you stay quiet, they're just going to have a negative opinion the whole time.
Yeah.
So he said, just speak him and apologize to them.
So essentially, when he's walking you through to the police station, maybe just stub your toe. Oh, my toe!
If you're already there, you're already too late. This is when you get pulled over.
Okay, just stub your toe somewhere.
Just
make him feel guilty.
Knees,
Step on a Lego somehow.
Just get a fake tear going. Think of like a Titanic. Think of Rose and Jack, and then get that tear going. You know what I mean?
By the way, guys, just want to, this is if you're living there. This is a different side of Japan. We're not talking about, visiting as a tourist.
They're very different. When you get tourists, you get those happy welcomes and all the benefits.
How many countries have you been to in terms of visiting? Obviously, Turkey, Japan. Have you been to anywhere else?
I've been all of Australia.
All of Australia?
Except Perth.
You haven't been Bali?
No, not Bali.
So what would you say,
are you talking about
out of 10, I guess, Japan?
Oh, Kyoto, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Restaurant people, everything's close by. It's a small city.
Yeah.
Tokyo, like a 4 out of 10, if anything. It was-
Osaka?
I didn't go Osaka.
Oh yeah, you didn't go
Yeah,
Osaka. Sorry.
You went Osaka, man.
You're gonna go. So
Well,
next
you
time,
into 10 of 10,
next
man.
time, next time you'll skip out on Tokyo and just go Osaka
Yeah.
and Kyoto.
Nah, next time if I was to go Hiroshima, the
Yeah.
Mazda museum there, one of the biggest museums in the world for the Mazda like brand.
Yeah.
Osaka, that's another stop. Mount Fuji, I didn't do Mount Fuji. You guys did Mount Fuji. I'm
We
pretty
didn't
sure.
know. We didn't.
Really?
No, we didn't.
You just see it on the bullet train. That's it. Then
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big mountain. Would have done Mount Fuji. Would have went. So another big thing in Japan is the ski resorts up north. A lot of mountains, like very high mountains with like snow at the top, and a lot of rich people they hire out cabins and they spend weeks, like a week or two at the ski resort. And it's like just, you know what I mean? Just like a mountain, you snowboard and whatnot, and just like the snow. That's another big thing that the rich tend to do. So another touristic thing is to go to their ski resorts. Then, yeah, just spend 2 days in Tokyo and enjoy the rest. Don't even waste time on Tokyo. You got the Sky Tree, you got a couple of gardens and whatnot.
So yeah, personally I enjoyed Tokyo, but I guess because I was staying in that touristic bubble, so it depends. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Secrets of.
And if you guys did make it till the end, because oh my god, that battery is flashing red and it scares me. And we've been recording for a long time. So just before we end it, there is pictures of Mirza that I want to show you guys. Your wax museum. I'm gonna put these pictures up. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the wax museum? Is there any stories or just the pictures you took?
Look, it was a pretty good wax museum. I've been to wax museums in Melbourne, Queensland, and Sydney. They are compared to this one. This one was like, they tell you the process of the wax, like how to do it, like how they make the statues.
Yeah.
They were so real too. Here's like a little, just like you can do a little.
First of all, I want to show the I'll do an album, but first of all, here's the picture with Michael Jackson, and then the rest will follow. The rest will follow.
There's your Tom Cruise. You can have Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
You know, and then just boop 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 boop. You can just
exactly. Chuckable,
yeah. But yeah, waxing it. That was another good thing to do in Tokyo.
Yeah.
All in all, good trip. Would go again, but only because it was cheap. I wouldn't go there if I could have, not afford. I could have afforded to go. We ended up spending budget-wise as well. If you take out all the unnecessary stuff and the gifts we got people, 2 people cost about 80 grand, 7-8 grand for. We were there for basically 9 days. But yeah, so you guys spent a little more because you were there for about 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks-ish. But yeah, on average, it's about travel and all that. You're looking at about, I would say about 5 to 8 for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's like budget if anyone wants to know. But yeah, that's like just travel, and I ended up getting a motorbike for that too. So rented out a motorbike for 8 days just for travel, make it easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, very good trip. You know,
Yeah.
I would want to hear Kez's just some, because Kez already glossed over it, but I would want to hear his.
Kez still hasn't told it. I haven't even told my Japan trips. I feel like we need to get together.
It's just going to be next 5 episodes.
I might just tell Aiden.
Japan.
I might just tell Aiden to sit one out. We might just talk about Japan for 2 hours. Me, you, and Kez. Just tell our stories. You've got some more stories. Kez has got more. I've got stories.
I only glossed over 20%, but obviously I'm not going to explain 8 days worth of stuff that we did. Keep it short, but yeah, this
short
is
and sweet. Yeah.
I want to more so talk about just the things that people don't know.
Yeah,
obviously everyone knows.
I will title this "Secrets of Japan." I think that's a good title. So, yeah.
But yeah, so these are just because like I said, I went there as a traveler. I didn't want to be a tourist there, so I ditched the bag. I sort of tried to get more of the culture and whatnot, and and then just my experience from the foreigners I spoke to there and the people that moved there from Australia and whatnot. These are all the sort of experiences and stories that I had to share. This is. Hopefully awesome. It was a good insight. I feel like I explained a couple of stuff you didn't know about.
Exactly. No, that was really good. Now I hope you guys enjoyed as well. Obviously, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below if you've been to Japan or any stories you've got of Japan. And we'll see you guys next week for episode 16, where hopefully all the boys will be here for the first time.
First time in 4 or 5 episodes.
True. It's been so long.
Kez has been the one missing out the most. I was in Japan for the last 2 episodes, so I have a pass, and the other one was medical. So I'm just saying.
I still haven't got your medical note from that. And also, you didn't apply for your annual leave for the podcast, by the way. So like I haven't had.
No,
No. Oh, let me check actually. Hold on.
It's probably
This is all behind the scenes, so you guys can
it's
shoot off
probably in your
now.
other account. It's all
Yeah.
good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll check.
But
it
thank you guys for watching. Hopefully, this is a little informative on just some stuff that I learned in Japan that I did not hear from a lot of people that I went to Japan. So it was just like, it was just some stuff that isn't really said around.
My
so.
camera cut out, so I'm going to borrow this one. All right, see you guys. Bye. Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I'll zoom it in as well. Oh yeah. Oh, it's really. Oh yeah. Woo!